good afternoon, and welcome everyone. My name is Gustavo Gordillo, and my partner Robert Rothschild from Business Recovery Center and Impact Beaverton. Today, we have the honor to host our presenter, Joanne Miller, owner, One House Digital, with a great topic, what you need social media. Welcome, Joanne.
Thank you. Can you see my screen or let me share my screen?
Not yet. Oh, the presentation will be recorded and later available via Impact Beaverton YouTube channel as a resource for a small business. Don't forget to subscribe. We will also make Spanish audio available through our talented interpreter Jessica Dower joining us today. Gracias, Jessica. After the presentation, we will open up for a question and answer. Okay, and the presentation rules, please put your questions in the chat box and we'll do our the best to address every one of them. Thank you for enjoy.
As Gustavo said, my name is Joanne Miller. I'm owner of the Winehouse Digital. We are located right here in Beaverton, right at First and Hall. We are just getting into our third year of business. And prior to this, I'll give you just a quick background on me. Prior to owning Winehouse, I spent 25 years thereabouts in sales and marketing, working both for large Fortune 500 companies as well as some startups. I had my first 10 years were in wireless, working for Verizon Wireless, the last 5 of which I had been running their retail division. And then I got into hospitality, which was really fun. I worked for a golf management company as their national director of sales and marketing. So my office was spread out across the United States and located at beautiful country clubs. So it was hard to be stressed in that situation. And then after that, I moved directly to the agency side and worked for a marketing agency. Did that for a couple of years until they kind of abruptly closed their doors in early 2019. And that was really the little push that I needed to take that leap of faith and open Winehouse, something that I'd been wanting to do for quite a time, but I think that was just, as I said, the little push that I needed. And when I was creating kind of my market plan or business plan for Winehouse, I started to really pinpoint who I wanted to work with and what I wanted to do. And I have such a love for small businesses that I really wanted to focus my services to help those small startups and nonprofit companies that are out there, and wanted to be able to bring value, right? And so realizing I can't be all things to all people, I decided to go where I thought the biggest impact could be with a small business, and that is improving their overall online digital presence. And so with that, Winehouse is very focused. We specialize in website design, social media management, and email marketing. Really all of the things that as a business owner gives you the power to tell your story. It allows you to interact with your customers, acquire new customers, and then build on that lifetime value of those customers. So for today's presentation, we are talking about social media specifically, and why you as a small business owner should be including it in your overall marketing strategy. All right, so let's dive in. Oh, first, also, sorry, there is a lot of information in here, so I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed. I'm happy to share this presentation with anybody that would like it. And then, of course, if anybody has questions or would like to meet one-on-one, I'm happy to make that work as well. So, all right, so let's see here. First of all, before we go into some of the benefits of social media, why do you need social media, right? As small business owners, we are constantly looking for ways to get our company's brand on the radar of our potential customers, right? So social media is a great way to engage with your current customers and then also attract new ones. And then this is the one area actually where small businesses kind of have an advantage over large businesses, because as social media success doesn't depend upon how many followers you have. It really depends on how engaged those followers are. And as small business owners, we tend to be more community driven. We're involved in our local chambers of commerce, and we build those relationships with our customer base. And our customers tend to be more loyal. They tend to be more active and engaged with us than they do with those large corporations. So let's talk about some of the benefits here. So there are 500 million users on Instagram every day. And then 68% of US adults use Facebook. So when we think that people aren't using social media, there's the numbers that tell you, yes, indeed they are. Especially now, we've seen these numbers even grow over the past couple of years as a result of the pandemic. The most important thing that I want to make sure that you all walk away with is understanding that people are using social media not just to connect with their friends and their family. They're using social media to research products and services that they want to purchase, right? So back in the day, Google was the primary search engine, right? And it's still leading for sure, but social media platforms have turned into search engines. So it's important to have your product and your services represented there. And you can see here, 83% of people use Instagram to discover new products. 87% said that they took action, like actually making a purchase or setting an appointment. All right, so top 5 reasons that you want to be on social media, right? So first and foremost, you're going to grow your audience on a budget. So the nice thing about social media is that you can spend as much or as little as you want to. So it's really great, again, for that startup business where our budgets are tight, right? So without spending any money, you can use social media to improve your search engine, right? Your search engine optimization. And that's the way you do that is using keywords. So when you are creating your content and making your posts, you want to make sure that you're including words that people will typically search for, okay? The other way, particularly on Facebook and Instagram, where they have search bars, that's where you use your hashtags. And we'll talk a little bit more about hashtags as we go along today. But if you're not currently using them, make a note that you're going to want to start researching those and including hashtags in your Facebook and Instagram posts. The other way, though, if you do want to spend a little money to reach more people, to get in front of people that aren't currently your followers or your fans, it's very cost effective to do some paid ads or boosted posts on social platforms. And the great thing about that is you can, if you've identified your target audience, right, your customer, you can build your custom audience around those demographics. So whether it's age, whether it's what they like to do, their hobbies, where they spend their money, those types of things, you can build those lookalike audiences to get your content in front of the right people that are going to be more likely to purchase from you. Staying top of mind is another reason that you want to be on social media. So US citizens spend about 145 minutes a day, each day, on social media. So it's a tool that enables you to grow your brand, increase your brand recognition through consistency. So when customers are exposed to your content, your posts each week, it puts your business on kind of like a pedestal, right? So when they are at the point where they need your product or they need your service, you're going to be top of mind, which is where you want to be. Now, there's a caveat to that. And I do want to say that there's a fine line between too much posting and not enough posting. So if you start posting too often, what happens is you run the risk of your followers being inundated and then losing interest. So we really say that posting 3 to 4 times a week is ideal. The other reason that you want to be on and use social media is to research your competitors. So these days, most businesses have social media profiles, right? So this is a great opportunity for you to do a little research and learn about your competitors' business strategy or marketing strategy. So you can look up businesses that are similar to yours. What methods do they seem to be using? How are they attracting new customers? How are they engaging with those customers? Find out how your audience awareness compares with theirs, right? So is there something you can learn from your competitors to be more impactful in your own social media campaigns? And I just alluded to this, but building the custom target audience, that is such a huge tool that is offered. Really, it doesn't cost anything to do that. So when you are thinking of boosting or doing a paid ad, doing a paid ad, you want to make sure that you're taking the time to build that custom target audience. And it walks you through the tool, the ad platform tool on Facebook and Instagram, walk you through that. But again, if anybody has questions on how to do that, I'm happy to spend a little more time with you on that. And then finally, share your story. Social media is a way to connect with your audience at a more personal and emotional level. Like no other marketing platform allows you to do that. So it gives you the chance to show off your hard work, tell your story, give a little behind the scenes snippet to your business, anything that is going to connect with your consumer on an emotional level to make them feel like they're a friend, right? Because we all know that old saying is true, that buying decisions are 90% emotional, right? So they want to trust you. They want to feel like they know you. They want to feel like they can call you up and meet you for coffee. Okay, so how do you do it, right? Now you know you need to be on social media. How do you know you're going to be successful, or what are some tricks, right, to being successful? We talked about posting. What is equally as important is if people or when people are leaving comments, that you respond to those comments. The algorithms that all of these platforms use, which makes the decision on who and how many of your followers are going to see your posts, engagement is a huge indicator. So not only are your followers or fans engaging with your content, but how quickly are you responding and engaging with them? And another way to do that is to comment on other posts. So by searching or looking at the people you follow, by searching competitors, by searching other businesses that might be complementary to yours, and posting on those, A, that's increasing your engagement. B, you're more likely to get additional followers when you do that, because your brand is then exposed to more people. Another key to success, especially now, is integrating video content. This can be done a number of ways, but the general rule of thumb is that you want to keep it at 60 seconds or less if it's just an average post, right? So it's something you're either promoting a product, a service, you're telling your story. Those are shorter snippets. If you have something where it's going to be more educational in nature, you can record a longer video. On Instagram, that would then be posted to IGTV, Instagram TV. It still gets displayed in your natural feed, but it's just a little different platform that allows longer video content. And then it's really important to keep in mind that your content, whatever you're putting out there in the world on the digital landscape, you want it to have a consistent look and feel and voice, right? So the reality is there's going to be crossover. People are going to discover you on social media and they're going to go to your website. People are going to go to your website and they're going to click your social media feeds. So you want it to be a consistent user experience. And the best way to do that, again, is to keep that same color story, keep the same fonts, keep the same look and feel. And then colored visuals increase people's desire to read the content by 80%. So throw some color in there. And then imagery. It's oftentimes I see businesses that will make a post on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any of the many platforms that are out there, and it's all text, right? So that is confusing to people. And where it says here, our brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text, that is just something that you want to remember, because you want to go with the imagery. Go with imagery, 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 and keep your text to 20% or less. Now you can increase your text if you need to explain the service, the product, the image. Do that in the body of the post itself. Don't put that text onto your image, if that makes sense. So keep it simple, keep it clean, and go with the imagery that's going to tell your story. Okay, this is kind of fun. So these are some common questions that I have received from clients, some myths that are out there. The one I love most is when people say to me, well, my customers are on social media. I don't need to be on social media. Well, as we've seen before, earlier in the presentation, there's 3.7 billion people worldwide on social media. So the odds are at least one platform out there is going to be relevant to your audience and with your brand. You should only schedule posts during the work week. This is a good one now, because that used to be kind of your general rule of thumb until the pandemic. And we have found that people are on social platforms early in the morning, late in the evening, on the weekends. So what you want to do is find out when your audience is using social media and schedule your posts for that time period. So if you don't have a scheduling tool, Facebook Business Suite allows you to do that. So you can post or schedule your posts in Facebook and have that go both for Facebook and Instagram. But there's also a number of tools out there. We use Hootsuite, but there's any number of scheduling platforms out there. So do some A/B testing, play around with it, and see what times you're getting the most engagement and that you have the largest reach, because the analytics will show you how many people, actually how many eyeballs saw that post. And then we already talked that the young people, only young people use social. Not true these days. 55% of Facebook users are over 35. 40% of all internet users are 46 to 55. And that tends to be your highest buyers right there as well. And then oftentimes people think that they have to use brand new content, brand new imagery every single time. And this is where I want to just take a step back and make sure that you guys understand the way that the algorithms work. So you may have, let's just say you have 1,000 followers. Not all 1,000 people will see your post in their news feed every time. The algorithms take a percentage, and it starts out as a relatively small percentage of those followers, and show your post to them. And then based on their reactions over a period of time, they will make that group a larger group, and over more time, a larger group. So it is perfectly acceptable to reuse images that you've used in the past. The only caveat with that is that I would say mix up the text, right? The posting itself, whether you're saying something new about it, whether you're putting a different spin on it. But it's totally fine to use the imagery more than once. And then hashtags. So hashtags, if you've ever noticed on some posts where they have, it seems like an endless number of hashtags, they are, as I mentioned before, a way for people to search for content, specifically or particularly on Facebook and Instagram. Now, Instagram will allow up to 30 hashtags per post. Do you need to use all 30? Absolutely not. So what you want to do is take some time and research those hashtags that you feel are relevant to your business, to the people that you want to attract. And then when you do that, when you type in the search bar, let's just say hashtag custom woodwork, then there are actually 524,000 posts for custom woodwork. Now, custom woodworker has 11,000 posts. So what that means is on that 11,000, the chances of your post being seen are far higher than on the 524,000, if that makes sense. So you want to find those hashtags that are, as I said, relevant to your business or your service, but that have, anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 posts, because then your content is more likely to show up under that. Let's see. Okay. What's this poll? Okay. So which social media channels right for you? And again, there are so many different platforms. And oftentimes people ask me, Joanne, do we have to be on every single one? And the answer is absolutely not. No, you don't. What you want to do is be on the 2 to 3 where your customers are, where your target audience are. Because if they see you where they are, they're going to make that assumption that you're everywhere, right? So to know the differences between the different platforms is important. So we're going to spend just a few minutes here, and I'll take you through some of these. Obviously, Facebook, the original, it initially started with connecting friends and families, schoolmates. Today, though, you can actually, if you happen to be an e-commerce business, you can connect your store to Facebook and Instagram so people can purchase right from there. And as I've mentioned before, people are using these now to research products and services that they want to make a purchase on. So the demographic on Facebook tends to be a little bit older, right? So 68% are between 50 and 64, 79% are between 30 and 49. So it does tend to be a little bit older demographic, as opposed to Instagram. So tends to be more between that, 25, 34 is kind of the sweet spot for that. The difference between Facebook and Instagram, because people do ask me oftentimes, do I have to be on both? And I always say, yeah, you should. A, Facebook owns Instagram. B, you're going to tend to get some crossover between the two, but you're getting in front of different audiences. And that's really what you want to do. Instagram is all about the imagery, right? So as I mentioned before, keeping the text relatively small. So the fewer words, the better on that one. Snapchat, if you have kids, you know what Snapchat is. If your demographic that you're targeting is that 18 to 24, you might consider Snapchat. So, but it's really something, if your product is something trendy, it's unique, it fits a specific niche, then, and you're going after that younger, hipper audience, then that's a place that you might want to consider. Twitter, this is more about the getting a conversation started. So Twitter is, 25 to 34, even the next largest group on there is 35 to 46, 44. They tend to be educated, they're urban, they want to educate themselves. There are Twitter groups, there's like Twitter beer, Twitter wine, Twitter news. So if your company is newsy or techie, or innovative, this would be a great place to engage with people and inspire them to then go follow you on other social platforms. All right, LinkedIn. This is traditionally has been used as a B2B, business to business platform, right? So if you're targeting other professionals or other businesses, this is a great place to be. But it's also, I encourage most of my clients I encourage to be on LinkedIn, because it allows you to set yourself up as the expert in your field. Because you can, whether you're a blog writer or you hire a blog writer, LinkedIn is the place where you are going to be able to educate people. So users tend to be educated, urban. The most active, are between 25 and 40. But again, wouldn't be my only platform, but it's certainly one that I would recommend. Pinterest, this is interesting. Pinterest, which started just as kind of a place for do-it-yourselfers to collect what they call boards, right? Which is just creative, different pictures. As I mentioned before, you can link your store to Facebook and Instagram. You can also make your pins buyable, right? So if you have a product that tends to be, whether it's, home decor, whether it's landscaping, whether it's, something that people are researching, you can set your Pinterest account up to act like a store. So demographics are kind of all across the board here, 18 to 50, pretty evenly spread between, believe it or not, men and women now. It used to be predominantly women focused, but we're seeing more and more of the like landscape, outdoor construction, remodels, patio makeovers, those types of things. So it's a great place to be if you have imagery and if you have, it's creative. TikTok, this is all about what's trending right now. It is a younger audience. So again, if you're going after that younger audience, you might want to consider TikTok. It's 100% video. It's anything that's trending. It's humorous. It's entertainment. But you can, if you start looking around in TikTok, you can get some pretty informational videos out there. It's great for people that want to try new recipes or what are the latest colors, anything like that. But it's definitely geared towards that younger audience. So it's not going to be a platform for everybody. And finally, Google My Business. If you have not set up your own Google My Business, I encourage you to do so. It's free. And I'm happy to walk anybody through it who is not sure how to do that. But once you create your business profile, you can go in and make posts just like you do on Facebook, LinkedIn, any of the other platforms. You don't have to do this 3 to 4 times a week. I do it once, sometimes twice a week for my clients. But the reason I do it is that it absolutely helps your search engine optimization. It helps people find your website because Google rewards those that play in their own sandbox. So if the more you're posting and getting seen on Google, the higher they're going to rank your website when people are searching. So it's just one of those little tricks, doesn't cost anything, but take the time to set up that account. They'll send you a code, you have to verify it, but it's definitely worth it. All right, so again, before you create your social media accounts, it's important to figure out which channels your target audience is on, as I mentioned before. So you don't have to be everywhere. Pick the 2, pick the 3 that best fit your market, and then do those well. Commit to, again, 3 to 4 times posting a week is really where you want to be. And if that's something that you can't do, if there's not somebody in your organization that you can delegate that to, that likes to play in the social media arena, then it really is something that you should consider outsourcing, because it will impact your business in a positive way when you are doing this over a period of time consistently. So it allows you to maximize your reach. As I mentioned before, it's cost effective from an advertising perspective. And it's really where your audience is. Now it's just a matter of finding out which platform is best, right? Which platform is your audience utilizing? And then let's learn how to maximize your opportunities there. So that actually went faster. Do we have any questions or anything that I can go a little deeper on for you?
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. My video isn't working for some weird reason here. So when you talked about knowing the right times to post throughout the week, where do you view analytics for knowing when you need to post? Is it just kind of looking at the apps and seeing, oh, so 5 people liked my picture during this time, and then kind of go from there?
The platforms offer analytics. So what I use is I go into Facebook Business Suite, and there's an analytics tab on the left-hand side. And that will allow you to customize the date range. And it will tell you everything from how many new followers you have had, what your total reach was, what your engagement was, tells you the demographic of who is looking at your posts. It's really great information. The other place, if you guys are utilizing a platform, a scheduling platform such as a Hootsuite, they offer analytics as well. And so what I do is I look at all the data that I can, because each platform will report a little bit differently as to what statistics they're looking at. But the information is there. If you're an Instagram, you have an Instagram dashboard. Facebook, if you're using both Facebook and Instagram, will separate out for you, so you can see on each platform where that traffic is coming from and at what time. But if LinkedIn, for example, I use Hootsuite to drive that analytic results.
What he's looking for, Joanne, is just kind of or Olga's question is, what are the pros and cons of hiring an agency to post for you versus doing it yourself?
So that's a great question. So some people, don't want to spend the time doing it. A lot of people don't like social media because it's so much more than just posting a picture, right? You've got to make sure that the content is, as I said, relevant and engaging for your audience. But it's the time consuming part too, is the engagement part. So, and that is ultimately what's so important these days, because as I mentioned, those algorithms. So the pro to outsourcing it is it takes that weight off your shoulders, and you can go focus your time and energy on other areas of growing your business. The con would be obviously that it's an added expense. It is less expensive than hiring an internal person, bringing somebody on specifically to do that, because you're not paying, the benefits and all those things. But yeah, it's definitely, there's a cost involved. So you just have to weigh that with the amount of time that you're getting back into your day and your ability to go focus on other areas of your business.
And there's another question in the chat, Joanne. It asks about, is all social media free? And a question on that, is there costs worth optimizing or doing things that might cost you a little more, but are going to be worth it on the different social media platforms?
So the platforms themselves and to post are free. Where it pays off and where you can spend a little money and create a budget would be into doing ads on those platforms. So for example, if you are a business and you're pursuing other business, you're a B2B company, maybe you've got a service, it actually would be worthwhile to do some ads on LinkedIn, because that's where those professionals are. If you are direct to consumer, then I highly recommend putting a little bit of a budget towards Facebook and Instagram ads. Now, the difference is, let's just say you're going to go and do a Google ad spend, right? You're going to do the pay-per-click on keywords. You want to maybe do some display ads. To get any type of return from a Google campaign, you need to spend at least $2,500 to $3,000 a month. I know this from experience. To get a good return on a Facebook Instagram campaign, you can spend $250. You don't even have to spend $250 a month, but to get in front of such a large group of people with a good call to action, you can set a daily budget. I have clients that set a $10 daily budget and run their ad for, 7 days. So it doesn't cost a lot to advertise on those social platforms, and it is worth it if you want to grow your business and grow your audience. Do I coach businesses on how to post on social media correctly, or do you offer done it for you services, or both? So when I first started, it was just that I would take on, or my team would take on the social media management for our clients. In the past year, I've actually had a couple clients say, hey, can you teach me how to do it? And so we do offer an hourly rate to meet with you and kind of go over what types of posts would be, what we would post on your behalf. So what we would think would be most engaging, and then teach you how to read the analytics, that type of thing. So yes, we at this point, we do both. I will say, 90% of our clients, even after they've been taught how to do it, choose to have us do it because, again, it frees up so much time for them to go focus on other areas.
Hay otra pregunta. iPhone 1 dice, tengo una cuenta de mi negocio en Facebook y eventualmente me da un mensaje de que ponga dinero para promocionar. ¿Es factible?
Now, Facebook, if they start to see businesses out there and they're getting some leverage on their posts, or even not, they have a sales team and they will reach out to you from time to time and say, let us do it. I will tell you, it's far more cost effective for you to find somebody like Winehouse or anybody else outside of the Facebook umbrella to do that for you, because we're looking at it more holistically across multiple platforms as opposed to just Facebook. But again, to do some testing to see if it's going to get you in front of, potential new clients, doing a ad for, 7 days for, $70, you might be really impressed and excited about the amount of traffic you get back to your website. Recommended when it's.
Joanne, do you see the question about talking about inventory?
I do not.
So there's a question that says, which platforms where I don't have to put too much inventory, I have a retail business, and then some I update the inventory, or is that possible?
Which other platform? Okay. So let me make sure I understand that. So you have a retail business, you want to connect a store. You can put as much or as little inventory on your Facebook store as you like. And then that Facebook store is automatically connected to Instagram, right? So you can do that. And then if you do a post with a product that is on your Facebook store, that post, that image in Instagram, they can just click it and they'll go directly to your store on Facebook if they want to make a purchase or see other products that you have listed there. So the nice thing, and what Facebook likes, because Facebook wants their users to stay on Facebook. So by having your store or your products on Facebook, it's keeping that user on their platform, which is what they all want. They don't want you to click a link and have you go to another outside third-party website for fear that they don't come back, if that makes sense. And then as far as updating your inventory, it's easy to do. It's just a matter of, we can upload a spreadsheet that has the information and then it's dropped right into the Facebook store.
The question, and I was thinking about this too, from Emma is there a timing during the day? You talked about doing maybe 3 to 4 posts a week. Is there a way to track the best time during the day, or that would be best to post to get most attention?
Yeah, so typically what we're seeing, again, this has shifted a bit due to the pandemic, is from 11 to 2 tends to be the highest traffic. And then we see another spark between 4 and 7 in the afternoon. Or spike, I should say, between 4 p.m. and 7. I'm looking at this from Emma. The fact that you had a video reel go viral, you got 3,000 impressions. That's awesome. So whatever that content was, it resonated with people. So I would do more, similar type videos or posts. So whether was it humorous, was it educational? And then pay attention to, if you did use hashtags, you can also in the analytics see which hashtags are being searched the most for each post.
I did do that, and I obviously chose the most viral hashtags that I could connect with the content. But what was interesting, and I find this in most of the reels, is that my audience specifically is more interested in educational. And so the video happened to be something very different that I normally post, which was DIY, do it yourself kind of video. And it was just such a silly video, nothing too exotic, but yeah, 3,000 in less than an hour, like, and shares and saves and all kinds of things. So
That's awesome.
So I'd like to know. And it was for me, my audience is more engaged on Saturday evenings for some reason. And that is what I found. But just wondering if there are any other tips that we could take into account to make that even more of a success.
Well, I think in regards to posting and organic growth in general, so the easiest way is two things. One, take some time each week to go out and look at other people that you want to start following, right? So the more people you follow, the more people that will follow you back. And then the other ways to get engagement is adding in like a poll or a question, depending on what your business is, if you can do a giveaway, something like that. Because then the way that I use them is say, okay, XYZ be entered to win, this, but they have to like it, they have to comment, and they have to share it with a friend, right? So there's 3 things that have to be done before they're entered. So that it all comes down to like, comment, and share. So that helps your growth, gets in front of new people, and once it's shared with one of their friends, it's shared with all of their friends, right? That is all of your questions. Thank you so much for your time. And like I said at the beginning, if anybody wants this presentation, I'm happy to share, or if anybody has just questions that perhaps I can answer, there's my contact information. Feel free to reach out. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing, and Gustavo, and hand this back to you.
Thank you for your participation, Joanne.
Thank you.
Topic is great. I love it. So, Joanne, thank you everyone to join us with a great topic. See you the next Tuesday.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.